Today's program is brought to you by the Texas Deer Association. If you've ever thought about being a deer farmer, there's no better time than right now. And the reason why is because one lucky winter, well, what we're going to do is we're going to come out there and on your land, we're going to set you up as a deer farmer, which includes a pen, feeders, deer feed, and also the live deer. It's absolutely free. If you want to win a deer farm, all you need to do is go to our website, winadeerfarm.com, and register right now.
My name's Lucas Burns, and my deer farm is Weaver Two Whitetails here in Alabama. I got my deer from Rusty Weaver here off his farm, and I would encourage people to come out and take a look, and you'll see why I chose to deal with Rusty.
All right, well, this is the same pen that we were in last year with the yearlings, right?
That's right.
So what have you done, taken those yearlings that were in here last year and moved them to another pen?
That's right. We move each age class into a different pen, so the incoming yearlings for this year in this pen.
Well, how many yearlings do you have in here?
We've got about 65 or 70 yearlings in here.
Wow, I like the way that you got them spaced out. They're not bunched up all together, because you've got this that's open up back here to another pen, but I wound up looking at them, and overall, I think your deer are prettier this year than they were last year.
Well, I agree, and that's what we were shooting for. We're still trying to work width and frame into the herd, and much more consistency this year in terms of the width and framiness.
Well, I'm seriously looking across the board here, and I think I don't really see any deer out here that is just kind of crazy, non-typical. And that's the thing, XLT. I mean, you know, we'll see XLT today, but in looking at XLT, I mean, he's so non-typical, you would think that he's going to throw non-typical, but I mean, on your girls, I mean, look what he's doing.
Pretty consistently, it's a typical frame with character points, kickers and stickers, but there's clear beams, tine length, and a good frame on all of his offspring.
Well, I look at some of these guys, I'm going, that blows my mind, how pretty these deer are. And now these deer, what is your mix of northern blood in here? Because in Alabama, I know that there are a lot of states. I mean, people talking about bringing northern deer down or introducing northern genetics down. Percentage-wise, how much of your herd, or these bucks that we're looking at right here, is northern?
We're about half and half. We've got everything from full northern to 7/8 Texas.
Okay, all right. So, but I look at it and I think, is there one dominant sire that you have off your farm that is a daddy to the most of these deer?
Either XLT or one of his sons, Express Shadow and his sons. Those are our primary live breeders, and they're producing just as well as their fathers did. So we'll continue to breed with that line. Express Shadow is half Texas, so we're going to focus our Texas program on him and his sons.
And looking at these guys, I want to ask you business model wise, okay? Many guys want to grow nothing but bucks, because the bucks are clearly what it seems like some markets want, bucks, bucks, bucks. You're not that way, are you?
No. When we're putting our breeder plan together every year, we're looking at what does we're going to get out of that plan. We're breeding for does. We're trying to build the right doe for the Texas genetics and the northern genetics. And if we build the right doe and the right doe herd, then we're going to get the right bucks. They'll come.
And see, that's just kind of opposite of most people. I mean, the bucks right here, you've got as good a yearling bucks as anybody in the country. Looking at this group right here, and I think these yearlings right here, in your opinion, compare these guys to what the yearlings looked like last year. What do you think?
As a group, they're better. They have better look frame-wise. They have better tine length, better beam length, better body size, and as a whole, they're approaching what we're reaching for, what our goals are for our bucks.
Now it's time for the Beam Fence Minute.
You know, there's an old saying, get what you pay for, and that's true whether you're dealing with deer genetics or whether you're dealing with a fence. And as far as fences go, I want to point something out, that different people use different construction methods to put their fences up. Some guys put up fences that'll last a lifetime and more, and some guys put up fences that, well, in 10 years you're going to be repairing those fences and probably rebuilding them because they weren't done right. So what you have to do is you have to keep in mind that you get what you pay for and everything, and fencing is just one of those deals that when you deal with Mark Beam, Mark has decades of experience. He has a list of references as long as your leg. He has the most sophisticated equipment that he's come up with himself. He's got patents on this stuff that fence contractors all around the world, including fence contractors over in Australia, are using Beam Fence Company products. And that just gives you a little idea about Mark Beam. But you get what you pay for and everything. Like I said, whether it's deer semen or deer fencing, you're going to get what you pay for.
I'm Ricky Spratlin, and I own Relentless Whitetails here in Alabama. I've been deer farming for a little less than a year and own just a handful of high-quality deer. I decided to start small and stay on the high-quality side of it.
I'm Jimmy Howitt, and I'm from Howitt Creek Whitetails here in the state of Alabama. I looked into deer farming about 10 years ago, but now we've been farming for about 5 years, and I'm sure glad that we did. We got our deer from Rusty Weaver, and he's just been an incredible asset to our farm. He's just more along the lines of our mentor. Deer farming in the state of Alabama is such a lucrative business that the farmers here just can't keep up. Our farm, we could sell out our whole herd and still not meet the demand.
Visiting other farms, meeting other people, we decided to go with Rusty Weaver here at Weaver Two Whitetails, strictly because of the quality of the deer and the trust.
All right, Michael, so last year we came in the same pen. This is the breeder pen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but there's $3 in here. I'm thinking, okay, that big guy over there, the big typical buck, tell me who that is.
Express Shadow.
That's Express Shadow? Okay, and how old is he this year?
4.
Okay, did y'all use him to live cover does?
Yes, sir.
So you've got fawns on the ground from him now, and you've got, okay, because I already saw some bucks in the 2-year-old pen and the 1-year-old pen, so you've got 1 and 2-year-olds out of him.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So in your opinion, is he bigger this year than he was last year?
Definitely.
I mean, I know he's taller. He looks as wide. I think he's got taller tines this year. I think he's a lot prettier this year than he was last year. What do you think?
I think he is.
And that's my kind of deer. Okay, but this big deer over here, he's an older deer. Is that XLT?
Yes.
And how old's he?
5.
All right. So at 4, what did he score?
529.
Did he really? Okay, so what kind of score, what kind of spread did he have? Do you know?
I believe he was 25 inches.
And that would be inside, right? I mean, outside he'd be much wider than that, but yep, about 25 inside. He is a beautiful deer. All right. Well, who's that other guy over there? I don't think I've ever seen that deer. Who's that?
Superman.
Superman. Okay. Tell me about Superman.
Superman is Shadow on an outcross doe and scored 403 at 2.
How big do you think he is now?
He should go 520.
Okay. 520 at 3. Okay, listen to that guy right there, because he knows his stuff. Okay, on an outcross doe. Tell me about the doe.
She was bred to outcross. Her mom was just foundation doe, and they bred her to outcross, and then they bred the outcross doe to Shadow, and that's what they got.
Folks,
That's what we got.
listen then, because as a deer breeder, he talks like a deer breeder that's been in the deer business for 30 years. He knows all the pedigrees. He knows how to outcross the deer, how to line breed the deer. He knows, he is the man. Okay, let me ask you a question. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Deer farmer.
Right answer. And I hadn't asked him that question, but I kind of knew he wanted to be a deer farmer. That's what I want to be when I grow up too. Okay, so do y'all have a website?
Yes.
All right. What is the website address? So if people want more information on this operation, what do they need to do?
Go to Weaver2Whitetails.com.
Coming back to Weaver Two Whitetails, like coming to a home away from home for me. I love this place, and I love the deer, and I'm sure you can see why. If you'd like more information on Weaver Two Whitetails, you can contact my friend Rusty Weaver by going to his website at Weaver2Whitetails.com. If you have any questions or comments about the program, we'd love to hear from you. I'm Keith Warren, and thanks for watching Deer and Wildlife Stories. What you're about to see is graphic in nature, so viewer discretion is advised. Last August, many of Texas's deer farmers were forced to kill hundreds of perfectly healthy deer in order to test them for chronic wasting disease. To date, approximately 600 deer have been killed, and the killing isn't over. What's worse is that out of all the deer that were killed, not a single one of them tested positive for chronic wasting disease.
I don't know about you, but to me there's just something wrong with the picture when you start killing perfectly healthy deer to test them to make sure they're not sick with chronic wasting disease. Now, CWD has been around for over 50 years, and I'm a believer that CWD, it needs to be managed from science-based management rather than from a political agenda. And I think that we ought to learn from states that have been battling CWD for more than 50 years, and they themselves say that there's nothing they can do to manage it. What they need to do is just monitor it. So again, I think that we ought to base our CWD stuff all on science and not on a political agenda. If you'd like to find out more about chronic wasting disease, let me encourage you to go to the website cwdmyths.com.